what do you understand from economic resources? Please just don't worry about the accuracy part and all that. It is a pure guess that you are making from by reading the title. Come on.
I would guess that any infrastructure that the government provides for the common benefit of the public, especially like things like roads and bridges.
Okay. Okay. See, how about the receivables, cash, and all that? Will that be considered as economic resources, or you try to say that economic resource would mean those long-term assets alone? How about Bharat?
Yeah. Okay. My understanding is that economic resources will consist of only long-term assets.
How about Srini?
Actually, long-term assets, they will all come under anything which needs to be capitalized, and that will be part of the uh, uh, what do you call something which you get in something like water service or electricity, where things are used for the purpose of service. At the same time, there is a charge or fee by the government. So even though there may be assets, but it may not be capitalized. So these things are basically as an expenditure where the resources are created uh, for the purpose of the spending, and there will not be uh, fixed assets attached to
Right.
this.
Right. See, my question was, I was just trying to make it a little simpler. I was asking the question, do you expect the economic resource to be confined only to long-term assets, or would you include, or would you like to include cash, receivables, and that sort of thing? That was my question. So you answer only to that question. Because
No,
Bharat answered that it is only long-term assets. How about Srinivasan on that question?
my question will be no. My answer will be no.
That means, what do you mean by that?
There will not be any long-term assets.
Economic resource would mean there is no long-term. It's only current.
Current, and uh, it will be only as an expenditure, not expenses and income.
No, see, you are talking about road, bridges, and all that. That becomes long-term asset. No, that will have a longer life.
Yeah, but they will not be capitalized. Is all I'm saying. But if you want to just stick to the point of view, will there be any long-term assets?
Yeah,
I'm
we do
still
have
not
long-term assets.
correct.
Okay. Anyway, I think we have just taken a little extra time there. See, there are
Correct.
two different measurement focuses that are used in the preparation of financial statements of government. One, they are economic resources measurement focus and the current financial resources measurement focus. There are only two. In government accounting, there are only two. See, now it is a point at which I got to tell what is economic resources. Economic resources are all assets. All assets. That means current as well as long term. So the generic term economic resource would indicate all assets. Correct. So therefore, I wanted see, whenever I'm just giving any suggestion, you try to limit that discussion around that is hovering around that. So here economic resources measurement focus and current financial resources measurement focus. So this would include current and long term. Here only current. Correct. That is the reason as why I was just telling you we are just going into a sharp focus. The economic resources measurement focus is used in the preparation of government-wide financial statement and in the fund financial statement by funds that undertake business type of activities. So government-wide financial statements, when they follow economic resource measurement, in their financial statement, you will have current as well as long term. Correct? And for fund financial statements, where they do this proprietary sort of funds, definitely they do have that. Okay. So we will go into a little greater details about what is economic resources. So transaction and events that improve the economic position of an entity are reported as gains, revenues or gains. So when our economic position is improving, that improvement will either be taken up as a revenue or it will be taken up as a gain, right? Similarly, what could be considered as cost? So exactly the term should be taken up as transaction and events that reduce the economic position of the entity as reported as cost or loss, expenses or loss. Are you understanding? Though
Yes.
expenses not a term that we will be using, but just for the purpose of understanding the subject, I am using that term as expenses. So transaction that diminish the economic position of an entity will be reported as, that is, such transaction and the events which are likely to cause reduction in the economic position of an entity will be taken up as expense or loss. Are you clear now?
Clear, clear.
The government-wide financial statement and the fund financial statement for proprietary funds report long-term asset and long-term liability because they are prepared using the economic resources measurement focus. So wherever you have economic resources, would mean it is inclusive of everything, I would say. There is nothing to exclude. That is the reason as why a generic term of economic resource being used. Is that okay? Now, current financial resources. So from the very name itself, you understand, from the title of this particular term itself, you understand that it does not include long term.
Long-term assets and liabilities.
The current financial resources measurement focus is used only in the fund financials by funds that are governmental funds, basically, which basically are the funds that are not proprietary in nature. So even in the case of governmental funds, you have proprietary funds. That is an exception. Generally, by and large, when you ask a question in governmental fund, what is a concept that they have would mean current financial resource concept is what we are having. In governmental fund, you have proprietary fund, and there we will be using economic resource. That is an exception. Are you understanding? So, economic resources are used in government-wide financial statement, and in fund-based, there is one particular fund that you have proprietary fund. There you will be using economic resources. In the remaining places, current financial resource alone we are using. Current financial resources measurement focus is on the financial resources available in the near future. The operating statement and balance sheet of governmental funds in the fund financial statement reflect transaction events that involve current financial resources, current asset and current liability. So I will not use the term liability, current asset alone. Those assets which will be turned into cash and spent, and those liabilities will be satisfied with those current financial resources. So since they have just communicated that the liabilities, current liabilities which will be discharged by the current financial resources would mean current assets. So current liabilities are discharged by current asset. Therefore, what is the system that we follow? Current financial resources system we follow. Are you clear? So now you can understand that there are two resources that we were talking about. One is economic resource, the other one being current financial resource. Are you clear? In government-wide financial statement, we follow economic resource. In fund-based, we follow current financial resources. Exception is that in government fund, there is an fund called as proprietary fund, which is a business type. There we will not be following current financial resources. There we will be following economic resources. So therefore, economic resources are followed in two places. One, government-wide financial statement. Then number two, in proprietary fund. So where is that we follow current financial resources? In rest of the places. Is that okay, Srini?
Only when you say
Yeah.
government wide, what is that you're trying to? I'm not able to follow that terminology.
You will just get to know. You will get to
Okay.
know now. So now, firstly, we are trying to understand. Right. Firstly, we are trying to understand that there are two resources. So where they are used and what they are just doing, we will learn now. So current financial resources continued. Long-term assets and those assets that will not be turned into cash to satisfy current liabilities are not reflected on the balance sheets of the governmental funds in the fund financial statements. See now, Bharat was asking what is this government wide? Government wide, the other one being fund based. See, as far as government wide financial statements where there is no fund that you have. So it is something like a business they carry out. So government will carry out certain businesses like any profit making entity. Correct. There you cannot be following current financial resources. You got to do like a business.
Accrual basis.
That's it. Full accrual basis. That is what we are going to do. So government wide financial statement would mean it is all applicable for government wherever government is doing business type. So I was told, I think I just read a few weeks back in Tamil Nadu, in India, we have government running liquor shop. In US, there is one particular state that we have, what is that name?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. So in that state, you find they are doing like Tamil Nadu. What is that?
Liquor business,
Liquor
Tasma.
business they do. So shall we just check it up? Because I was only wondering that in only in Tamil Nadu it is carried out. What is the spelling?
You put no
Pennsylvania
P.
PNS.
PNN. Pennsylvania.
It's coming up. Just is the
Right.
State run.
Oh, see, the moment I put, they have just given the second one.
Liquor
Run
store.
universities. So you
top
just
hits.
find so is an alcoholic beverage control statement. So here they just do that. See, I was only under the impression when people were criticizing uh, that is Tamil Nadu government is more dependent on liquor business, even when water is not available during flood times. Yeah, that was a time at which I was just reading. So in one of the groups, I remember now, they have put that. So please just don't criticize, single out the present government doing all that. So that is also a must is what a person was just supporting. Anyway, that's a different issue. So government-wide financial statement for which economic resource they follow. So you are asking a question as what is that government-wide? That is a thing. So
We follow the US model, Pennsylvania
US
model.
model, yeah. Or possibly they would have followed Tamil Nadu model. I do not know
No.
who
Dravidian.
spearheaded.
That is right. Dravidian model is older than Pennsylvania model, right?
Okay. So Dravidian model is they are torch bearer. Hmm?
Yeah. Because Kaltondri Muntondra Karate. So we already started. We were the one who taught them. Yeah.
Okay. So we understand that in this particular thing we have just done now. Long-term assets and those assets that will not be turned into cash to satisfy current liabilities are not reflected on the balance sheets of governmental funds in the fund financial statements. So we do not take into consideration long-term assets And such of those assets which are not helping them to satisfy their current liabilities, they don't have the place in the balance sheet. So it is something like you people are not assets at all, because you are not in a position to enable me to satisfy my current liability. So therefore, the definition of asset for fund financial statements are different. Long-term liabilities, those that do not require the use of current financial resources to pay them, will not be recorded on the balance sheet of governmental funds. That is, both long-term asset as well as long-term liabilities will not be taken up at all under current financial resources. Case study to bring difference between economic resource and current financial resources. See, pay rapt attention, close attention. So though I made one attempt, so from there you can easily understand what exactly is the economic resource and current financial resource. See, I want after that discussion, after 2-3 slides, so I want you people to summarize what you have understood. So you don't have to tell same like the other person. You should not tell. So even if it were to be the same point, you please repeat. A government purchases a new computer, a capital asset for $10,000 that is expected to last 5 years. In 5 years, the computer will be discarded and sold as scrap. Now, economic resources is the background at which we are analyzing. Event is computer was bought in year 0. Accounting, what you do at year 0 is that no change in ER. What do you mean by no change in ER?
No change in economic resource, no addition to economic resources.
How do you
Something
say there is no change in economic resources? Any idea? No change in economic resource is what they tell. Why? Why? Whereas in year number 1, the event is charging of depreciation, there is a reduction in economic resources. Year number 2, same. Year number 3, same. Year number 4, same. Year number 5, same. Tell why it is like that.
In the accounting thing, there is no loss of, because it is just new, there is no loss of value. It is still in very good condition.
You are talking about an asset which is in very good condition. Supposing you bought a second-hand machine.
It is still in a running condition.
In this particular case, it is new computer. Imagine that you bought a second-hand computer.
It is still in a very good condition. There is no loss in value, right? It is still running and usable.
So that means the first point, what was conveyed for point to defend is not right. Am I right?
Okay.
Now, that is not an argument I'm just trying to make. What in economic resources they tell is that I have substituted cash with another resource. So my net worth is undergoing no change.
Okay.
Are you understanding? Because
Yes.
because of this transaction, what is happening is that my net position is undergoing no change.
Okay.
Yes or no?
Okay.
Bharat, are you following?
Yeah, following Murali.
So, whereas in year number 1 to year number 5, there is a fall in the value of the asset, and because of that, my net position, my value, my net worth is dropping year after year.
To the extent of depreciation.
To the extent of depreciation. To the extent of depreciation. Correct. Are you understanding?
Yeah.
So
Murali,
that,
when we come to year 0, are we saying there is some outflow, there is some inflow, but overall it's not changing the position. So can we say like this?
yeah. I am substituting in the place of cash an asset. What does this transaction have impact on to my net worth?
Okay. Yeah.
So you may consider it is a transaction where you say debit asset, credit, cash and all that. So we are saying there is no change in ER. Whereas depreciation will be taken up as affecting ER.
Yeah.
Now I will
So in other words,
explain
the
it
first
this way.
one, in other words, the first one is measurable and available.
Measurable and available concept, please just do not take into consideration because that is applicable only for revenue.
Okay.
Please just do not use it here. I will come to that measurable and available a little later.
Okay, because when you have a specific percentage fixed as depreciation on the first case, so I thought like we are identifying a specific amount of depreciation, so that is measurable and available to reduce the value of the asset.
No, it is not applicable here because that is measurable and available only for revenue recognition.
Okay.
Right. So there is no effect on the statement of activities. Statement of activities should be understood as something similar to that of your income statement because there is no change in the economic condition of the organization. Because of this, will there be any change in the value? It gave up cash and received computer in return. Am I right?
Yeah, okay.
In subsequent years, the economic condition of the organization is worse off because the computer was fewer years of useful life remaining. So, in other words, on account of depreciation. On account of depreciation, there was a fall. Accordingly, the statement of activities reflect an expense each year equal to $2,000 of depreciation expense. Am I right?
Yeah, 10,000 by 5. Yeah.
With
Life
no
of the asset.
salvage value. Are you understanding?
Mhm. Yes, yes. Yes, Murali.
Srini?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I do.
So please confirm or otherwise if you are not understanding, please let me know, but silence will not be considered as an answer.
Okay.
So next one, this is for current financial resources, how it is getting or how this is taken up. Here also you have even computer bot change in here in accounting. What is that I say? Change in current finance. What do you mean by change in current finance? So in the case of economic resources, my focus is on net position. Here my focus is on current item. Are you understanding what I'm telling?
Yeah.
So it is all like this way, Srinivasan. So when a
Yeah.
person is just wearing overcoat, thicker one would mean, what does it mean? That means the outer atmosphere is very cool. So he wanted to protect. So his focus is only on to keep his temperature up. Right? Likewise, we need to know in the case of economic resources, our focus is on net worth, which you call it out as net position. So because of a transaction, whether my net position is undergoing change or not is a question that you got to make. If it is yes, then it is a matter that we have got to capture. That is, we have got to record or we have got to put our mind there. This is for economic resources. For current financial resources, if any transaction is affecting my current financial resources, then it qualifies for focus. That is the reason as why you call this as measurement focus. It is not about how much money is measurement. So here this measurement focus is something I would just say synonymous to recognition as well as measurement. Are you understanding?
Mm-hmm.
So the term measurement focus should be understood now in a better way than what you had in the previous classes. Are you understanding? So in the
The
case
point of
of government
recognition.
wide, please. In the case of government wide financial statement, our focus will be on net position. Whether this transaction affecting my net position, if yes, I will focus. That is a measurement focus. In the case of fund based, my focus will be on current financial resources. If that is affecting, then my focus will be there. Yes, Bharat, now you can just raise. Yes, Bharat, please.
Yeah. No. I think somewhere lost. Okay.
Hey, what is this? I will just give you
come
time.
again. No, I'll come again, Murali. Benefit of that.
Right. Srini,
Yeah, go ahead.
are you clear?
Mhm.
Are you clear?
Yes, I am.
So the depreciation that you are, or that is you taken up in economic resources as affecting your net worth or net position, which was considered to be a transaction under economic resources, they are not transaction at all under current financial resources because depreciation causes no change in your cash position. I mean, current financial position.
Okay.
Understood?
That is more a non-cash entry. Can we say like that?
Yeah, very
uh,
much.
So to
Depreciation is a
remember,
non-cash item.
yeah, to remember it, I'm saying. To
Yeah,
yeah.
that is the reason as why I am telling you this is not a transaction because it is not affecting your cash. Cash is part of your current financial resources. So non-cash item like that, we simply ignore. For depreciation, there is no cash outflow, either now or later. But certain expenses, what will happen is that I will book, but that will be resulting in outflow, if not now, tomorrow.
Join Sreeram Coaching Point and study at your own pace. We will make you realize your dream of becoming a CPA.
So therefore, we have got to be very careful. Are you clear?
Mhm.
Clear.
Say yes or no?
Yes.
Clear.
Yes.
Now, I will read one by one. At year zero, the governmental fund has $10,000 less in current financial resources. Am I right? Because you lost that
Yes.
amount of cash. It gave up 10,000 in cash, a current financial resource, and traded it for a computer which is not a current financial resource. So some change had happened in the resource whereby they have lost current financial resource and they got into a non-current financial resource. The operating statement assume this as an income statement of the governmental fund will show this as an expenditure. What is that? This we will call it out as expenditure. You derive benefit and whatever you talk in a profit seeking organization that you derive benefit, call this as an asset. I will not hear at all. I will not hear this at all. In year zero itself, I will book this as expenditure. Because of the fact that I will be taking it up as part of my statement of activity, in each one of those years of usage, I would have caused depreciation, but I have not caused any change in current financial position. Therefore, depreciation will not be booked at all because the very capital expenditure itself is knocked off by year zero itself. Are you understanding?
So the entire item will be expensed, right?
Correct. The entire item is an, you should not use the term expense. Rather, you have to tell that as expenditure.
Correct. Spent or expenditure, right?
Expenditure.
Okay.
So it gave up 10,000 of its cash and did not receive any current financial resource in return. So you may tell, I would be receiving benefit in the future and all that. You tell, but I am not in a position to hear you because I have only one concept in my mind. I have only one object in my mind. What is that one object I have in my mind?
Whether there's a cash outflow or not.
Current financial resource.
You
current
gave
financial
up a
resource.
current, you gave up a current financial resources
Hmm.
and traded it for, for whatever the computer or okay.
Not current.
Non-current.
Non-current.
Correct. Then there are no other
Non-current, right?
there are no other impacts on current financial resources relating to this computer. The governmental fund's financial statement would not reflect any other transaction in subsequent years relating to this computer, that being the depreciation.
I think that's the key point here.
Are you understanding? That is the reason as why I told you we require a sharp focus.
Yeah.
So for Srinivasan, it's a very early morning in California. So this is a right time that you catch. Never miss this morning class. Now, difference between ER and CFR. What is this ER and CFR?
Economic resources and current financial resources.
Right. Now, I have just given, see, all this comparative tables and all that I developed just 2 minutes back.
Amazing.
Assets, economic resources, current and long term. Current financial resources, only current.
Only current, right. Same way for
Liabilities,
liability.
current and long term, and the current financial resources, only current.
Right.
Method of accounting, full accrual.
Modified.
Here it is modified accrual. Now you can
Mhm.
easily understand as how modified accrual is closely connected with your current financial resources. Are you understanding?
Yes, this is
Yeah.
excellent, Murli. This one is like a ready reckoner.
Yeah. Next, who follows? Government wide accounting and proprietary fund. Wherever you have business motive, you will have this. Then, wherever you do not have business motive, government accounting.
I think there's
Handling
a
of
fine line.
capex.
There is a fine line between government wide and government.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. The handling of capex in economic resources taken as an asset. And what is that? You do it in current financial resources taken as expenditure of the current period. Charge of depreciation taken as change in economic resource, reduction in net position. Entire capex is expenditure as spent. There is no scope of taking depreciation. Once again, no duplication. Correct? Understood?
Yeah, it's a kind
So,
of tricky exactly in the charge of depreciation. Let me just.
yeah. In one of our earlier PPTs,
Yeah.
this concept I knew question came much earlier. Concept is discussed later. Now, what you people do is that I'm going to put it in their website. These PPTs you can as well. I don't have to just send daily upon your request. Times I may forget also. So I'm just thinking of putting it out in the website. I'm just asking the website fellow to put that PPT there, so that you can just see that at your own pace. And whichever you want to have, you don't have to just store. It is there in the website and you can just download or you can see directly. That is what I'm planning.
I would like to write it up as so can I?
You want to write it
Okay.
now?
No, I don't want to waste the time, but again, if it is available, then I'll.
It's not. Yeah, I will just share that. See, every day, every class end, I was just sharing with Bharat. So one of these days I closed and went out. So that point of time when I saw the message that he wanted it, so it took extra time for me to
That's okay. I
forward
can.
it.
No. Yeah, I
So
can.
therefore, what I felt is as how the video is available in the website. Same is the case. This background material should also be available there. Why would I just retain it? It is all a property of everybody.
Government.
The knowledge is to be shared. Now you can understand what is the difference between the two.
Yeah, I need a little bit finer on the last one, because the first two, assets, liabilities, method of accounting is basic, and that's exactly what drives these resources. And who follows an excellent fine line between government wide accounting and government accounting, also a proprietary fund. Can you elaborate on that? The last two, handling of the capex and then the charge of depreciation.
Just now I just given you $10,000 computer, no?
Right.
That's the same thing. Based on that only I've taken up this discussion.
Translated. Okay.
Yeah, whatever we had as a case study, I put it here.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Are you
Maybe
patient?
if I'm not, Murali, maybe I'm just thinking, maybe you could ignore or correct me if I'm wrong. Is it something like economic resources we can say closely related to a fund flow statement and the current financial as a cash flow statement somewhere. Not same, but similar.
See, when I have to accept it, in there will be places where I got to differ from
Okay.
whatever
Okay.
commitment that I've just made.
Mm.
So the entirely they are all in a different plane.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
You see, this one is a much wider, broader one. That fund flow
Okay.
and cash flow, there will be a small difference only. See, I don't want to put this under fund flow cash flow difference.
Okay.
Right now, you are asking about government wide financial statement. So there we have two financial statements that comprise in government wide financial statement. One is statement of net assets. The other one is statement of activities. See, the first one is you
Balance
don't
sheet.
call it out as balance sheet, but you call it
Mm.
out as statement of net assets. You don't call it out as profit and loss account, but you call it out as statement of activities. Each of these statement is described below. Statement of net assets. This is government's balance sheet. It's stated there. It presents the government assets and liabilities as of a specific point, which is government's fiscal year end. The difference between government assets and liabilities known as its net assets. Yeah, government net assets on the statement of net assets needed to be divided into three stages. What are those? Invested in capital assets net of related debt. See, there will always be a debt which is associated only with that particular asset, not generally. So therefore, invested in capital asset net of related debt. Next one is restricted net assets, distinguishing among major categories of restriction. Restriction will normally be imposed by outsiders, donors and all that. So same thing what we did in not-for-profit organization, we got to carry out in this case also. And the other one is going to be unrestricted net assets. Correct?
Okay.
Say, when we talk about restricted assets and non-restricted assets, our mind will immediately go into assets. Actually, it is not so. So restricted net asset is only on the liability side. Instead of telling it out as a capital, so here we are using the term as net assets. Is that clear? Say once you see the financials, then you can easily correlate and make that adjustment. See why I'm just taking an extra bit of time for SLG is because we have not underwent any of this in India. It is purely US GAAP specialty, I would say. So as how we tell what is the specialty of this particular place? What is the specialty of Salem? Say we say mangoes. What is the specialty of Tirumala? Tirumala Neldu. Likewise, the specialty of US GAAP is government accounting only, which you don't have it in India. You don't have parallel for comparison. Therefore, we have got to learn. There is no question of unlearning. In other cases, we have got to unlearn and then learn. Shall we proceed to next?
Yeah.
Government-wide financial statement where you have statement of net assets and statement of activities. Same thing, I have put it in the form of another PPT. Next one, statement of net assets where you have assets and deferred outflows minus liabilities and deferred inflows. On the other day, we have just learned what is deferred outflow. Remember,
Yeah.
deferred
Couple of
outflows are all like prepaid, where you have the future benefit to be derived. Liabilities where you have got the resources, but you are not delivered. Obligations. Now, government-wide financial statements, measurement focus, economic resources, method of accounting, full accrual, content of financial statement, all assets and liabilities, meaning current as well as long. Net position division, three components that you have: net investment in capital asset, restricted net position, unrestricted net position, or net assets you can call.
Can I write it down, Murli?
I will share with you.
Okay.
One moment.
I'll take a screenshot. I'm fine, Murli. Don't worry.
You take a screenshot. Yeah.
Okay. It's done.
Correct. I will share, Srini.
No, I've taken a screenshot and I've also printed it. Don't worry.
So government-wide financial statement of activities is roughly the equivalent of an income statement. A better way to view it, however, is as a summary of the transaction, that is the activities, the sum of which roll the beginning net asset run to the ending net asset number reported on the statement of net assets. I'm talking about in a vertical form. I imagine that and I put it like that. The statement of activities present governmental activities by function or program and business type activities at least by segment. See, if you have more than one, what should I say, vertical, then for each one you got to have a separate column and you got to try. That means your income statement should not be a consolidated one when you have many activities or that you are carrying out. So you got to have the breakdown of the various activities that you are carrying it out. That is what you call it out as a program. If you have only one program, then all the activities are to be done with a proper function-wise expenditure details. Segments are identifiable activities reported as or within an enterprise fund or another standalone entity for which one or more revenue bonds or other revenue-backed debt securities are outstanding. See, let me tell you, these are all only formalities. See, the one that I was just concentrating at this from the start was economic resource and current financial resource. That is what you consider as a concept. These things are all procedure that you can patiently go through and learn. They're all very easy for you to consume. Now, government accounting. I'm not talking about now government.
Wide accounting.
There is government-wide financial statement. You have government accounting in which you have these two. And fund accounting in which what is it you have? Governmental funds, proprietary fund, and fiduciary funds. Are you understanding? Government accounting is general. Under that, government-wide financial statement I have completed. Now, our trajectory, that is our movement is going to be towards fund accounting from now on.
It is mostly business in nature, can I say? Similar to.
No. This government-wide financial statement is business. Fund accounting is not business. Under that, governmental fund is not business, fiduciary not business. Only this proprietary fund will have.
Okay. Okay.
That is the reason these two in which you follow economic resources, in rest of which you follow current financial resources. Governmental funds under which I'm talking about this one. Please understand, this is the one that I am taking it up now. Under that, you have general fund, special revenue fund, debt service fund, capital project fund, permanent fund. These things on what should I say? Specifically, we have not discussed, but we have just made a overall discussion in the earlier classes, right?
Yeah.
In a government fund, there can only be one general fund. The general fund is a chief operating fund of a government, right? See, in Beehive, you have he and she, bees. I'm not very clear about the male one and the female one. So where how they gather honey, there is going to be only one king honey, king bee, or I do not know what to say. There will be only one. Similarly, in the herd of lions, you will have one lion and many lionesses. Lion will take its major share, and that is why you call that as lion's share. Srinivasan on the other day was just talking like that. Am I right, Srinivasan? Srinivasan, are you there?
He's
I
in
think
mute.
that-
My mic was off. Yeah. So I was actually talking, but sorry about that.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right. The
Yeah.
general fund is a chief operating. There can only be one general fund. You cannot have many general because general by itself is a residuary category. Like generally accepted accounting principle permit a government to have only one general fund. The balance sheet of the general fund will include those current financial resources relating to transaction that will be accounted for in the general fund. You will not have long-term assets and liabilities. Usually, the asset side of the balance sheet consists of cash, investments, receivable, etc., where you can convert them into cash in the short run. So now, let us just take up governmental fund, general fund. Measurement focus, current financial resources. Method of accounting, modified accrual. Content of financial statement is current items only. No place for LTA, LTL, no place for depreciation. Expenditure nature, administrative functions of the government. Revenue channel, taxes such as property tax, franchisee tax, public service tax, fees, penalties, etc. And maybe interest income there. Is that okay? Now
Yes.
remember, out of 5, general fund is what we have taken up.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Correct.
before we could take up the third one. So next one is going to be the second one. And let me just communicate about the general fund, balance sheet with current items and deferred inflows and outflows. Deferred inflows and outflows we have already taken up for discussion. Next one is statement of revenue, expenditure and change in the fund balance. The first one is like balance sheet. Second one is like profit and loss account, that being income statement. Now, out of the 5, in today's discussion, we will be limiting only to 2. Up to special revenue fund, and then we will go to MCQs, which will be 5 in numbers only, not 10. Special revenue funds are used to account for the proceeds of specific revenue sources that are legally restricted to be expended for specific purposes. See, I will tell, on the other day, I was just referring about in India, we have something like tax, surcharge, and cess. How you have cess, where the amount what you have collected should be used only for that particular purpose alone. If it is education cess, the money should be used only for education. Likewise, if the money were collected for meeting certain expenditure, you should use only for that particular purpose. So when you have a specific purpose for which any money is collected only for that purpose, then it will not come under general, it will come under special revenue. So when you have many such specific purposes that you have, then you will be having special revenue number 1, special revenue number 2, special revenue number 3, and so on. You can have multiple special revenues,
Special
but
revenue
you can
funds.
have only one general fund alone. The creation and use of special revenue fund is optional unless there is a requirement of the government that a special revenue fund be created. See, it is only optional. It is not necessary that you got to do. Simply restricting the use of revenue does not automatically mean that this revenue and the related expenditure must be accounted for as a special revenue fund. See, if there is a restriction is there, that cannot be considered that it is a special revenue fund. Restriction may be there. The grantor might just put some restriction. That does not mean it is coming under special revenue fund. So purpose is very important, not restriction. Restriction is different from purpose. The government will set up one or more special revenue fund to account for these types of resources. Say now, let us know about what is the source for them. For that, let us know about this particular table. Measurement focus current financial resources, right? Method of accounting, modified accrual. Content of financial statement, current items only, no place for long-term asset or liability. Expenditure nature, current operating expenditure, namely street maintenance, park upliftment. The specific purpose is there. It is not generally salaries and all that. Revenue channel. What is a revenue channel? From where you get the money. Sales tax to operate tourist facility, gasoline tax to operate and maintain streets, etc. And donations. Donations and inter-fund transfers.
Okay.
Okay. So here, what is that financial statement that you have? Same like general.
What about use tax or any county tax that is collected?
Which one?
Use tax and county tax that is collected for any sale that
Everything.
happens.
See, let me tell you, if any tax is levied for a particular purpose, then it becomes special revenue.
Okay.
That will come under special revenue. If there is no specific purpose when it is generally collected,
Right.
then it will come under general.
Okay.
In Indian scenario, we have a thing called as education cess. From the very name itself, you understand that this money should be used only for education.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
Next. So here also the financial statement will have balance sheet with current items and deferred inflows and outflows and statement of revenue, expenditure and changes in fund balance. So debt service and all that we will take it up in the next class. Though I have come prepared, I understand your urgency and I just got only 5 in numbers. Class 17 base, question number 1. So maybe for 10 minutes we can spare, no?
Yeah, max, yeah.
Right. Yes, Sree, make it fast.
Okay, yeah, in government wide financial statement, the statement of net position, deferred outflow of resources are presented. Option A as a part of liabilities present service capacity. Option B as a part of equity. Option C in a separate section following assets, and option D in a separate section following liabilities. Okay.
So here they are asking deferred outflow of resources. Deferred outflow of resources, whether it is an asset or liability, firstly, or equity. We have already made a discussion about deferred outflow. You can't say that you are hearing it for the first time. No.
No.
I think in the last class we have just done that. It is an outflow that made during the current period for future benefit.
It's an asset, right, Murali?
Correct. It is an asset. Okay. So therefore, wherever you have liabilities statement, what they are given, you have to knock it off. Then how about B and C? So therefore, it is not an equity.
Not equity.
And therefore, C is the answer. Okay. So the requirement is to indicate where deferred outflows of outflow of resources are presented on government-wide financial statement on the asset side as a separate item. Question 2. Come on.
Question 2, as on December 12th, 2023, ABC City compiled the information below for its capital assets exclusive of infrastructure assets. Particulars: the cost of assets financed with general obligation, debt and tax revenues. 3.5 million, accumulated depreciation 750,000, Outstanding debt related to assets, 1.25 million. What amount should be reported for government wide financial statement under assets section? A, 3.5 million, B, 1.5 million, C, 2.25 million, D, 2.75 million.
So the question is about under asset section, how much you will be reporting.
Yeah.
So this is the cost. This is accumulated depreciation. So this is add item, this is less item. Outstanding debt is a liability. The question what they've asked is under asset section. So what are the possible answers?
It's a
So-
2.25 million, right?
Huh?
C.
See, why? How come? How 2.25 you have taken? So let me just guess that you would have done this way. 3.5 million minus 1.25 million. Correct? Please understand. So when they call about cost of assets and all that, you should understand that they are following economic resources. Correct? There are three statements that you have: net assets position, restricted and unrestricted. Correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Remember all those. I'm just not influencing you. I'm just only informing you.
My take is B, 1.5 million.
1.5 million. But unfortunately, both the answers are not correct. Now you have to tie between 3.5 and 2.75.
I would say go with option D.
It's right.
I will go with A.
Wrong, wrong. I have just considered this as right. Do you know
Okay.
why? I'm sorry. Extremely sorry. Mm,
Can you say Control Z and go back?
no, not this. I will tell you what exactly is the answer. It is by mistake I have colored it. Actually, this is the correct answer. I'll tell you what. This 3.5 million is the gross value. Gross assets. Accumulated depreciation is 0.75. It's 22.75 million. So it's a typographical mistake only.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
Because it is about the asset. You will agree with me when you take up question number 3, because question number 3 is also same. Just see, same, but here it is net position. There it was asset. Now it is net position. Now you will be very smart in giving the answer here. Faster, in fact.
Okay. It's basically 3.5 minus 750,000. And it's the net position, basically.
Correct.
Current
1.5.
assets minus current liabilities.
There is no current asset and current liability. So please
No, I'm
understand,
just
all are
saying.
capex. All
Okay,
are
I'm just
capex.
like a net position, basically, is asset minus liabilities.
Oh.
1.5.
B. That's right. Correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are you understanding? So please read the question properly.
Okay. Question 4. For government fund reporting, which item is considered primary measurement focus? A, income determination. B, flows and balances of current financial resources. C, capital maintenance. D, economic resources.
It's a fund reporting, basically, right?
This is the question.
Yeah, it
If
will
I
not
tell,
be an
if I
economic resource.
agree or disagree, that is going to influence you. So
No, I
therefore, I
know,
would
but
say
again,
read the question carefully.
it is a fund reporting, so it will not be an economic resource. It will be basically flow and balance of current financial resources.
How about Bharat?
Same with me, B.
Right. You are right.
Okay, there comes this government-wide accounting. Which term is considered primary measurement focus? Government-wide accounting is basically
With the business outlook, commercial outlook, maybe. It means D, economic resources.
Srinivasan? Bharat just selected this.
the primary focus on the government-wide accounting is yes, I would just go with economic. I don't know, maybe A and D, I'm caught between those two.
No, no, no.
Okay.
All this discussion that we have made in this class is only on these two
Economic
aspects
resource.
only.
Okay. All right. No, when it is, I
Government
kind of,
accounting,
no, I know, but I kind of distracted because if it is, since it's like a corporate or entity kind of thing, so I thought like the focus will be on the measurement will be on the income
No.
determination.
no.
Okay, cool.
See,
All right.
make it very simple. I will tell you. In CPA, I've just learned one important thing. They might just twist certain things only.
Oh,
But by
okay.
and large, the concept is going to be simple only. Don't think too much.
Okay. No, because the word primary focus kind of
See, I told you
Hmm.
measurement focus. I told you in a very simple terms only.
right,
See,
right,
if
right.
it is government wide, would mean our focus will be on economic resources.
Economic resources. Okay, right.
See,
Understood.
see, I would consider this way. If a person is, I am given a photograph of a person who is just wearing a very uh, big coat or a very thick one, then I would understand that he is not in the tropical region. He is in a place where there is a very cool temperature.
Hmm.
I can give you another photograph. A person who is bare bodied,
Right.
wearing only dhoti and putting his towel on to his shoulder and walking. That means he is in the tropical region.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So therefore, I should know primary measurement focus would mean measurement focus is dependent on the ground at which I play. If I play government-wide accounting, it is economic resources. If it is government fund accounting, then it is current financial resources. That's it.
CFR, current
That's
financial
it.
resources. Okay.
That's it.
Excellent. Right. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that's all for today, and we will be meeting tomorrow at the same time.
All right.
And
Thank you.
deeper focus only, please just come prepared. I will share all this PPT with you. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
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 Join Sreeram Coaching Point and study at your own pace. We will make you realize your dream of becoming a CPA.